Hi cuties, welcome back to another What I Spend in a Month. Today I'm going to be sharing with you everything that I spent in the month of October. I'm also going to share kind of where I'm at with my money mindset and how I'm feeling about how much I've been able to invest this year. The year is kind of coming to a close. I guess we have 2 months left, but this is like really the time of year where I start to reflect on what I have done and what I need to do to close out the year really strong. And to be honest, this year has been the financial year that I'm the most proud of. And I'll tell you why. It's probably not for some of the reasons that you might expect, but I'm feeling a little chatty today, so I hope that you're okay with that. I have my coffee with me and it's a Sunday. I have tomorrow off work, so I'm feeling nice and relaxed, and there's just a lot that I want to go through. So let's first talk about where I'm at with my money. So before talking about where I'm at with my money, I kind of wanted to touch on where I feel I'm at just in my life in general, because your mental health and your well-being is so tied to money. At least that's my personal perspective. And I find that the times that I am the happiest in my life, I'm the happiest with my money, and things flow easier. I'm able to have like a solid perspective on my money. I'm able to receive money, but also release money when I need to. And quite honestly, I'm pleased to say this because I haven't been able to say this in a really long time, but I feel the happiest that I have felt in my life in a very, very long time. I think that I might be the happiest right now that I've ever been in my whole life. And I will caveat that by saying I did recently increase my antidepressant dose. So I'm like chuckling because I'm like, no shit, you feel the happiest that you felt. I don't know. I don't know if it's that. I obviously, I have been taking medication for my mental health for 6+ years, and before that I had dabbled with it, and taking medication for my mental health is something that I know I'm going to do for the rest of my life, and it helps me a lot, and it kept me extremely stable for 6 years. But basically I had a conversation with a psychiatrist, and we figured out that I was way underdosed on this one medication that I was on, and so he brought me up to the therapeutic dose, and I have never felt better. I truly have never felt better. I feel, this is crazy, but it's I feel happiness for the first time in many years. I think previously I felt at baseline, I felt stable, I had moments of joy, but for the most part I felt like I was just kind of getting through. And in the past, I would say 2-3 months, or at least just even just this year, I think even before I kind of upped that medication dose, I feel happy. And you know that I feel happy when I'm able to express that and say I am happy, because even in the past when I felt happy, I was so nervous that it was going to go away so soon that I wouldn't want to speak that. So anyways, I feel the best that I have in a long time, and that translates to me honestly thinking about money less, and I feel very grateful and privileged to be in that position. So I just think that the past month, there's been lots of movement in the stock market this month, and as someone who has the majority of my money invested, sometimes the ups and downs of the stock market can affect the way that I feel about my money. But I just haven't really been thinking about it too much. I had a really average, low to average spend for October. So I also felt really good about kind of how little I spent in the month, but I had such a great month. So it's you don't have to spend money to be happy, but also it's a balance. I want to feel comfortable where and when I am spending my money. So anyways, I honestly feel like I could yap about this for a long time, but just know that I feel good with where I'm at in my life, and that is translating to me having a lot less anxiety and a lot less hyperfixation on money. Well, I probably think about money more than the average person because I literally track every single expense, and I also share every single expense with the internet. But for me personally, it's just been such a more carefree situation with money, and I know that that is a privilege, and that is something that I've worked very hard to get to. and I finally feel like I'm here. Like it kind of feels like right now I am enjoying like the fruits of my labor. And I was thinking about this too, that I think with my money, I've had like a scarcity mindset for a long time, and I've had a lot of anxiety as a person who lives with like crippling anxiety. I mean, it's not really crippling now that I'm medicated, but my natural state is crippling anxiety. I always have worries about the future. I always have worries about like losing my job and not having an income and like losing all of my money. And there's just so much fear there. And when you take away that fear, when you take away that anxiety, I'm able to just have such an easier time in life, and it allows me space to think about other things. And something too is like I'm coming up on, let me think about how many years. I'm coming up on my 7th year of like working, like coming out of university. And when I first started my career, I had so much anxiety. I was so nervous that I wasn't gonna do a good enough job, and I was gonna get fired, and I wasn't gonna be able to have any money coming in, and that I wasn't gonna be able to support myself. And I lived like that for many, many years. And I also like didn't believe that the money would keep coming in. Like it's just so weird when I think back to it, but you know, you really only can understand what's happening when you look back and you're connecting the dots. And I think that my overarching state has just been anxiety ridden my whole life. And so it makes sense that I was rooted in this fear. And now that I've gone through my career and I feel like I'm in a good place, I have shown myself that I don't have to be so fearful that I'm going to lose my job. I don't have to be so fearful that I'm not going to have enough money. I've proven to myself over the years that I can make money and I can keep it, I can invest it, but I can also spend it. So I think if you are watching these videos and maybe you're a little bit younger than me, or maybe you're older than me, but you are maybe a little bit less experienced with thinking about your money and your money mindset, I hope that I can be an example to you that you can get to a much better place with your money. And you just have to keep doing those habits and fulfilling promises to yourself when it comes to your money, so that you can get to a place where you trust yourself. You know that you are going to do what you've set out to do. You're going to, you know, watch what you're spending. You're not going to spend more than you earn. You're going to put away investments. You're going to take care of your future self. You're going to plan for retirement. You're going to treat yourself but not go overboard. Like once you've proven that to yourself, then you have like no stress. And so I honestly feel like I've gotten to that point where I don't really have that much stress about money, and that is truthfully such a luxury that like I know not many people have. And so I feel incredibly lucky to be at that place. I mean, I will say, like, I still have times where I feel like what I'm doing isn't enough, what I have isn't enough. I feel like envy when I look at other people's lifestyles. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not, you know, I still deal with insecurities. I still deal with envy, with jealousy. I still feel with like deal with imposter syndrome. I still deal with feeling not good enough. Like, I'm human. But for the most part, I have a pretty like chill view on my money because I feel good with where I'm at. So I'm not focusing on fear. Like I've switched from fear to peace. I don't know, we're getting real deep here. Let's get into some numbers, okay? Okay, so I hope that you enjoyed that little segment. I enjoy talking about money mindset more than I do like actual numbers, but I don't know, people are like, show us the numbers. Okay, so in October, like I said, I had a pretty good month. Like coming out of September, I felt like I spent quite a bit in September. So I was feeling like I wanted to scale back a little bit, but not too much. I didn't want to do like a no spend or a low spend. I just wanted to watch my spending. And what I did was, I remember the last week of September, I had a lot of expenses and I was feeling like I was spending like crazy. So then for the first week of October, I really kept it in check. And every day I was kind of trying to go another day without spending money, or when I did have something in front of me, like I could buy a coffee, or I could, you know, pick something up from Shoppers, or I could order something online. I kind of just told myself like, just wait a couple days, because I didn't want to start off the month with being in that spending cycle. And that's something that if you're working on your spending, and if you feel like you have like a spending problem, which honestly I have dealt with in the past, and like it still flares up. Like I've definitely dealt with a shopping addiction in the past, and it still flares up, okay? And I have to watch myself. And sometimes when you're in this consumption mode, and let's say you're like really busy at work, so then you're not packing your lunch, so you're buying your lunch out every day, and then you're tired, so then you're buying an extra coffee out, and then you know, had a bad day, so then you go to the mall and reward yourself. Like, trust me, I know that cycle like the back of my hand, and you have to just like stop it from happening because it's a snowball that will keep going. So I was in a bit of that snowball at the end of September. And so I stopped the snowball right at the beginning of October, and it served me well for the whole month. So let's talk about some numbers. Okay, so for the entire month, I spent $3,442.14. So I feel really good about that. My average is probably around 4,000, maybe a little bit more. And anytime that I can get in like the 3,000 something, I feel good about that. So I'm really quite pleased with that. So for home, I spent $1,097.25. For entertainment, I spent $539.63. We'll talk about why that one's so high later. Travel, $393.79. Clothes, $285.02. Eating out, $206.38. Groceries, $194.86. Coffee, $194.83. Health, $156.88. Gifts and charity, $129.41. Subscriptions, $91.92. Transportation, $80.63. Beauty, $71.54, for a total of $3,442.14. I also was able to invest $3,000, which I feel really quite good about. And I'll talk about my investments too quickly. I am on track to invest $35,000 this year, which makes me so proud and so happy. Again, like, how could I not be proud of myself when I'm able to do something like that? So I'm feeling amazing about that. I think I'm gonna make a whole other video about like how I was able to do that and what my tips are. I have in previous years done pretty good. Like I think last year I invested just over 20,000, but this year was like a huge jump from that. I feel very proud of my progress, and we're just feeling good on the investment side. And so if I'm feeling good on the investment side, then it means that I'm feeling good with what I'm spending, because obviously instead of spending the money, I'm investing it, and that's really where I want to be. So let's get into every single expense. I was thinking about this and I was like, Mel, why have you not just gone through each expense in every category? Like in previous videos, it's just been so random and I've gone through it, and it makes so much more sense to go to the home tab and talk through every home expense, then go to the groceries tab, and you know, so we're gonna do that today. We're gonna try that out. And I apologize that I didn't think about doing that earlier. You know, I consider myself to be smart, but sometimes the wheels are not turning, okay? Sometimes the wheels are not turning. Let's just get right into it. So for home, the biggest expense that I have for home every single month is my rent. So if you've watched my videos before, you know my situation, but if you haven't, I live with my boyfriend. We moved into this apartment in 2020. We had a really good price. Our rent has only been raised by a couple $100s over the years, so we have like a really good moderate rent. Like, it's really good. So my half is $837.50. Our energy bill this month was $57.93. I just realized that I put my phone bill under home, but that should go under subscription. So I guess my totals were like a little bit off, but that's fine. Our Shaw internet, my half is $67.72. And then we spent $69.87 on a shower curtain, and what else? Oh my gosh, I can't see. Oh, I spent it on a shower curtain, a phone case, and an Octobuddy. So I guess just the shower curtain was the home thing, but you know, I'm not really too bothered by getting my tracking exactly right like I used to be. It's just like good enough, you know, like it's good enough. So that was home. So it was like a pretty inexpensive home month. I think for November, it might be a little bit more expensive, because we have some things in mind that we need to purchase. One thing was we had this lamp that we really liked. It was this cute mushroom lamp. And when our Roomba was vacuuming, one time when we both weren't home, it like caught the cord and the lamp smashed. So I'm gonna have to replace that. So anyways, it's fine. But I was kind of sad to come home to that, and then I had to clean up all the glass. Restaurants and takeout. So restaurants and takeout are always higher when I'm traveling, and I did do a bit of traveling. I actually did a lot of traveling in October. So my total was $206, which again is like not bad. I will say that one of my travels was a work trip and some of our meals were covered. But okay, let's go through each transaction. So I did get lunch from Seed and Salt one day. I was driving to work and I went and picked it up. The total was $19.43. Now when I get this exact salad delivered, it's like $25, $28. So by opting to go and pick it up, that was the smart financial decision. So while $19.43 is a little bit expensive, I don't know, it's like fine. When you don't tack on the delivery fees and all that, it's fine. So I'm glad that I went to go pick that up. Another time, oh my gosh, I did so good this month. Good job, Mel. Another time I ordered a poke bowl. It was $18.36, but I also opted to go pick it up. So I think that I got, oh, this is so funny. Okay, I was gonna say I think I picked up all of my like takeout this month, but there was one time where I got a poke bowl delivered, $30.50. So the difference between picking it up and delivery was like $10. So over $10, I'm shook. Okay, so that was kind of the delivery. One time I stopped and got lunch at the Chopped Leaf when I was in Airdrie for work, and that was $18. And then I got sushi takeout one time. Oh my gosh, and I went to go pick it up. So I went to go pick up 3 takeouts this month, and I am very proud of that. I got sushi takeout and it cost me $18.46. And if I would have gotten that delivered, it would have been like $30. So honestly, I know that like it's still expensive to eat out, but truly the better option is for you to go and pick it up. So I'm gonna continue with that because that obviously made me feel really good. So that was another one. And then when we were in Banff for a conference, the total cost of the food that I had to cover for myself was $51.86, which is like really reasonable. And then the only other food thing was when Mac and I were in Victoria, we went to this spa called Haven, and there was this little lounge area and you could order drinks and charcuterie boards, and we got a charcuterie board and drinks. And this was a spa day that I was treating Mac to because he ran a half marathon that weekend. And so this was $49.77, but it was so worth it. The charcuterie board was amazing. The drinks were amazing. And honestly, I would have paid even more than that to have that experience. So for my eating out budget for a month where I had, how many trips? Did I only have 2? I can't quite remember, but I was traveling a lot. I have been traveling a lot. I think I did really well. So let's go over to groceries. Now for groceries, I will say I worked with Fresh Prep on Instagram recently, and part of my compensation was getting credits. So I actually got $500 in credits, and so I feel like I loved that. I was like so excited that that was part of the compensation because I just knew that that would cut down on our grocery bill for like 1 or 2 months. So our grocery bill this month was lower because we did 1 or 2 weeks of Fresh Prep dinners. And for November, that's another thing that's gonna come up, and I will mention that in my what I spent in November video, but we're getting Fresh Prep a lot this month, and so our grocery bill is probably gonna be a lot lower. So for groceries this month, my total was $194.86. It's usually around like $300, $400. So let's just see what I got. Blush Lane, I got a drink one day for $2.72. I got some snacks from Shoppers for $17.47. One thing I'll mention too is in October, I got some news about my health. Basically that I got some blood tests done and my doctor told me that I was at risk of developing diabetes, and there was a couple of diet changes that I had to make. So I did not skimp on groceries this month, even though we had Fresh Prep, because I needed to, I don't know, buy certain ingredients to make certain changes to my diet. So I was okay with that like investment. So that was, I remember that was one of them, these snacks that I got from Shoppers. Superstore grocery delivery one time, my half was $42.08. I got some lunch ingredients from Blush Lane one day. That was $25.31. I picked up dinner ingredients from Safeway 2 times, it looks like. One time it was $10.25, that would be my half. And then another time it was $28.01. We ordered meal prep ingredients from Superstore earlier in the month, and Mac and I made a bunch of freezer burritos. We made some lunch ones and some breakfast ones from this recipe that we found on TikTok, and it was actually incredible. I loved it. And my half was $55.97. We got this delivered from Superstore. We do Superstore grocery delivery because the delivery fee I think is $6. We split it between the 2 of us. It is so worth it. We still go to the grocery store, but we just don't have to go every single week, and that really works for us. And then the last grocery thing was I made some pumpkin loaf with, it's like this TikTok recipe where you take pumpkin puree and then spice cake mix, and it's just those 2 ingredients. Oh, and I added walnuts to it. and I picked up the ingredients from Safeway one day and it was $13.05. All right, so going into subscriptions, I should have my phone in here, but I accidentally put it in home, but my phone bill is like $65. I'm on a really good plan, so I'm happy with that price. I pay for Meta verification just so I can have like a check mark on Instagram. I don't know if it's worth it, but I've decided to do that, and that is $18.44 per month. My Spotify subscription is $11.54. I use my Spotify all the time, so this is worth it for me. I have a couple more subscriptions that come through Apple. I pay for CapCut and I pay for extra storage, and that was $45.64. Honestly, I want to look through my subscriptions and see where I can cut. I am subscribed to one of my favorite podcasts, Money Feels, their Patreon, and that's $5.25 per month. And then Netflix, Mac and I split that, and so my half is $11.05. Travel. So, even though I traveled a little bit in October, most of it was like prepaid or it was paid through work. So I only have 2 travel expenses. One was for Expedia. Mac and I decided to book a little Banff trip middle of November, basically because I went to Banff for work. He's currently in Banff for work and we wanted to go together. So we're staying at this motel called the Moxie. It looks really, really nice and it was a really great price. We're going, I think like a Monday to Wednesday or something. Or Sunday, no, we're going Sunday to Tuesday. So it was like a more affordable part of the week. And my half for the hotel room was $183.10. And then we did a 6-day trip to Victoria. We stayed with my parents in September, and basically there was a bunch of expenses that were between Mac and I, and like we rented a car, we like went out to eat, whatever, and basically we settled up and I owed Mac $210.69. So this includes like rental car, parking at the airport, dining out, like I don't know. I just didn't want to split it up. I hope you'll forgive me. Gifts and charity. I have 2 things. One was an Amazon gift. I have a baby shower this month and I bought a gift last month and it was $40.93. And then I was babysitting my nephew and he always likes to play my Nintendo Switch, and he's been asking me for Mario Kart. So I babysat him and I went over to Shoppers and I bought him Mario Kart. Okay, like why are those games so expensive? It was $88.48. But I will say he was very happy about it, and then I've been playing it too. So it's fine. So I guess it's kind of like gifts / entertainment for me. Gas and Uber was pretty reasonable this month, and honestly most of it is, I did a lot of driving, but a lot of it was for work, so I got to expense that gas. When I was in Banff for work, we took the bus a couple of times and that was $2 like each way, so it was $6. I got gas and I got a car wash before I went to Banff, and this was $38.50. So I think I just needed a little bit of gas, and then I did a car wash as well. When we were in Victoria, we took a water taxi. We did like this big walk and then we didn't want to walk back, so we took the water taxi, which was so cute and fun, but also very expensive. Like why was it $15? But the experience was good. And then there was also a bunch of times that we were paying for parking while we were in Victoria. So Mac and I, like together, my half of it was $21.13. And that was all of my transportation costs this month. If my angle is a little different, it's because my camera overheated. So let's just keep going. Okay, so for clothes, I spent $285.02, which is honestly pretty good for me. Again, back to the shopping addiction. I definitely spend money every month on clothes. So here's what I bought. I have these Gap jeans that I wear almost every single day, and they were on sale. So I actually ended up buying them in the same color so I could have a backup, and in a different color. So I spent $110.25 on 2 pairs of jeans. We did an event. I have a reading podcast called Easy Reads, and we did our very first event, and it was at this beautiful jewelry shop. They sell other things too, but it was such a fun event, and they were doing permanent bracelets, and I ended up getting a second one. So I already had one, and I ended up getting a second one. I'm not sure if it's gonna focus, but I'm really happy with it, and that was $70.88. I bought a cardigan from Value Village because I am trying to thrift a little bit more so that it's more sustainable and less expensive, and you know, lots of reasons. So I bought a cardigan from Value Village for $12.59. I bought a t-shirt in Banff, and now let me tell you, okay, I had a gift card a $40 gift card that they gave us at the conference, and I was planning to buy a little souvenir t-shirt, this like cute like vintage Banff t-shirt, but the gift card like wouldn't work, and I wasn't about to be like, okay, never mind. So I just bought it, but I wasn't planning to buy it with my own money. It was $37.77. And then the last thing I bought is I ordered a potential holiday party dress from Gap because they were having a sale. I found this dress that was super, super cute. We always have a really big Christmas party at my work, and I just wanted to get ahead of it and not be stressed when the holiday party was coming up. So I ordered that. It hasn't come in yet, so hopefully it works. It was half off, which is incredible. Gap has just been slaying. I've just been buying so much from Gap, and that was $53.53. So honestly, such a good price, which is why I went for it. Health, I spent $156.88. Two gym payments come out bi-weekly. Each of them are $28.35. Very reasonable. I went to the dentist for a cleaning, and my insurance covered most of it, but I had to pay a little bit extra, which happens every time I go to the dentist, and that was $61.39. So worth it. Your dental health is so important. And then we did a little stop at the weed store at 420. I put weed under health. That's a story for another day, but we had like a pretty big haul, and I spent $38.79. Beauty, $71.54. That is incredible for me. I got my nails done. I love this fun blue color, and that was $59.06. And then I also went to Sephora and I got some Dr. Dennis Gross peel pads, just like a little pack of 5, because I'm waiting to buy a big pack, like a restock, during the Sephora sale, which is happening in 2 days. But I had a $50 gift card, so I got the little pack, and then I also got a Summer Fridays lip gloss, and so I just had to pay a little bit on top of the $50 gift card, and it was $12.48. Entertainment. Okay, here's where it's kind of interesting. So $539.63. This is way more than I usually spend. Like sometimes I spend $0 on entertainment. So there's like a lot of things that are just one-offs. So I bought tights for a Halloween costume. I didn't know, like this should probably go in clothing, but I was specifically buying them for a Halloween costume. I don't know, $13.64. We are doing multiple Christmas activities with Mac's family. We're going to see a play, and then there was one more thing. Oh, we're going to see a play, and then me and Mac's mom and Mac's brother's girlfriend are going to the Nutcracker. So I paid for both of those things this month, and so that was $179, which again is like kind of an outlier, but honestly it's so fun. I love doing Christmas activities with them. So, and we've gone to a play before, we've gone to the Nutcracker before, so it's going to be fun and worth it, but that was an expense that came up. In November, me and my friend Josh are going to go to this necklace bead making class, and it looks really, really fun, and I ended up purchasing tickets for both me and Josh, and that was $101.85, so that will be really exciting to go to. I bought 2 books. These are books that I'm reading for my podcast, so I guess I could put it under like business expenses, but I just like don't bother because I don't have that part of my business set up there, you know? So I bought Fourth Wing, which was $29.39. And then I bought The Grace Year, which was $20. It was on sale at Indigo. And then I went to another event in October, and I ended up making this like little pottery dish with my friend Lauren. She was like teaching us how to make it. And it was optional to get it fired, and I wanted to get mine fired, and so it was $15.75. Now that I'm looking at this budget, I'm like, you go girl. Like this was a lot of like things for events and socialization, and that is something that I really am trying to work on because I can be a homebody and introvert that like doesn't go outside. So yeah, and then the other big expense was Mitzi and I put on this Easy Reads event, and we ended up investing some money into supplies, and I spent $180 on it, and I wasn't sure where to put this in my budget. So I put it under entertainment because technically we were putting on this event. It was a social thing. The tickets were free. I don't know, like it just was, I didn't know where else to put it other than entertainment. So that's why that budget was so high. And then the last one is coffee, $194.83. Honestly, pretty expensive. Like what was happening here? Okay, so I stocked up on Nespresso pods, 80/40. That makes sense. I reloaded my Starbucks card 3 times with $25 each. This is rough. I think it's from the traveling. When I travel, I definitely pick up a Starbucks at the airport and other things, so that's like kind of rough, honestly. I did buy coffee for me and Mac one time at Hey Happy in Victoria. I bought a Celsius at the airport when we were traveling, which was insanely overpriced. It was $5.93, which is the price for 2 of them when you're not at the airport. That was at the Victoria airport. I put Celsius under coffee because it's like caffeine, you know? When we were in Victoria, I got 3 coffees out. One of them was a Thai iced coffee. It wasn't very good. It was $7.50. One of them was a latte from Hey Happy. It's the iced coconut latte. It's insane. I love it. I got it twice. So that was $7. Did I mention how much I spent for me and Mac? $12 at Hey Happy. I got the ice, like the fancy latte, and he just got a drip coffee. And then I got an iced latte at the Kelowna airport at this like cute little stand, and it was $7. So I spent a lot on coffee this month, but you know, it's okay. It is what it is. So that was it. Those were all of my expenses. So honestly, I had kind of a sleigh of a month, and I really want November to be the same, but I have a lot of expenses that I'm already anticipating, but I've actually put those into my budget so that I know what's coming up, and I know, like, you know, kind of to try and scale back on these other things that I may want to spend money on, because I know that there's some planned expenses coming up, you know? So anyways, I hope that you enjoyed this video. Please let me know how your money is feeling. I really hope that you're feeling good about it. If you're not feeling good about it, try and think of like a couple of positive things, you know, try and think of like some things that you're proud of. Like, did you go and pick up your, you know, food instead of getting it delivered? Did you invest a little bit of money? Did you pay off some debt? Did you shop less? Like, I don't know, you have to really focus on the little things. I know it sounds so cheesy and I kind of hate being that person, but your small positive habits are going to build, and it's going to snowball, and you're going to feel great. So anyways, if you made it to the end and you haven't subscribed to my channel, I would absolutely love to have you. We do these every single month, and then I also vlog weekly. I usually do 2 vlogs in a week, like a weekly vlog and a weekend vlog. So I talk about money here and there, but it's more just like lifestyle stuff, and I would just love to have you. So thank you for watching and getting to the end, and I'll catch you in my next one. Bye.